to be alive and to be here together and to move in a way that encourages us to come into neutral alignment and really to be aware more of how we're moving all day long. That being said, we're going to start on your belly. Have your props nearby, so gather them if you haven't already, a strap, maybe some blocks, some towels. Once we come onto our belly, I will be lifted up on my arms just for voice purposes, but I highly encourage you to let yourself lay all the way down, whether that means putting a pillow underneath your head and turning it to one side or the other, or resting your forehead at something on a comfortable height. So let yourself come down and be comfortable, because that will help you work with your spine more in neutral, which is what we're going for. That being said, come on down. Feel the front of your pelvis spread out. Maybe lay your head down for just a moment, turn it to one side, and take a couple breaths here. Start to feel your body from your toes to your hips, from your fingers to your shoulders, from your pelvic floor to the crown of your head. And then if your head is turned to one side, turn it to the other side. And scan your body and take a few more breaths here. And then we'll start out by just laying down, stretching your arms out to the side, hovering over the floor, and moving your arms up and down by your sides. Feel as though you're reaching out through your upper back and chest muscles. Feel your feet and the front of your pelvis stay rooted down. And sometimes it's nice to go a little quicker with the arms, but sometimes it's nice to take a few very slowly. All right, and then let yourself relax your arms, maybe create a pillow under your head, tuck your right toes under, press back through the heel. Feel the front of the pelvis, both right, left, bottom, and top, stay grounded as you lengthen the back of the leg so much that the knee lifts up off the floor. And then hop that leg a little bit over to the right and tuck your toes under, press back there. Try to get as many toes as you can to touch the floor. And then hop that leg over towards your left leg. And again, try to tuck as many toes under as you can. Feel as many toes touch the ground as you lengthen that leg and the knee lifts up and the leg straightens without the pelvis rolling up on one side. And then switch legs. Tuck your left toes under. Reach back through the heel. And slide that leg a little bit out to the left. Tuck the toes under. Try to feel all the toes from big toe to pinky toe. And then slide the leg over towards your right leg. And again, try to touch all your toes under if possible as you reach back through your heel. And feel the length along the back of the leg. All right, and then grab your strap and we'll wrap it around. We'll lasso it around our ankle for a quadricep stretch. So create a loop, bend your right knee, lasso it around your ankle. We'll work on keeping the front of our pelvis flat and our ankle flexed as we draw our heel in any amount towards our buttocks. Continue to tilt your pubic bone down to the floor. Again, so that you can work with a more neutral spine. Let your spine come all the way down. And tune into your breath here. And then nice and slowly, with pubic bone, bottom front of the pelvis tilting to the floor and ankle flex, roll your lower leg a little bit out to the right. So you just slightly change how you feel the sensation on the front of your right thigh. And then roll your leg back to center and roll it a little bit over to your left leg, but keep tilting the pubic bone down, keep flexing the ankle. Notice if parts of your thigh want to lift up, try to keep them connected. All right, let's switch legs. So take that loop of your strap and lasso it around your other ankle. Or most importantly is we're working with a neutral pelvis, so tailbone and pubic bone tilt down to the floor, flex your ankle. And then from there, just stay centered, heel in towards the center of your thigh, the center of your buttocks. It's really easy for that pubic bone to lift up, so keep bringing your awareness back to it. Roll your lower leg a little bit to the left. And roll your lower leg a little bit over to the right. Think pubic bone tilting down, flexing the ankle continuously, feeling that inner front of the quadricep touching down to the mat, and breathing here. We haven't done this one in this way for a while. All right, bring that leg back to center, unwet wrap your foot, and then now you are going to come up onto your forearms for a moment. So lift up onto your forearms, elbows under your shoulders. Bend your left knee out to the left, about in line with your hip, no higher than your hip. Kind of slide that leg out away from you a little bit. And then from here, you're pressed down for your forearms and curl your ribs up and let them relax back down. Try to relax all around your right hip, your right thigh. Curl your ribs up and relax down. And curl up and relax down. And curl up and relax down. Then you can keep your knee bent as you lay your head all the way down, or you can extend your leg any amount out to the side. Try to tilt your leg so your inner heel comes down to the floor, and then just let your head come down and relax for a few breaths. Relaxing any clenching over and over and over again. All right, and then bend that left knee, slide it back behind you, come back onto your forearms, bend your right knee out to the side, about in line with your hip or a little bit lower. Keep that thigh relaxing, buttocks unclenching, and curl your ribs up without the front of your pelvis coming up, and let your ribs relax down and forward. Ribs lift up and back up a little bit, and come back forward. As you lift up, see if you can feel your armpits lift up, and relax, and lift, and relax. And then maybe keep that right knee bent, especially if you want to work more of the top of the inner thigh, or you can extend that leg long at any height, just anywhere from the hip down. And then let yourself come down and relax. Keep unclenching anything that clenches. And tune into your breath. Mentally relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. All right, and then bend that knee, slide it back behind you, and from there, you're gonna again lay your head down, let yourself relax down, tuck your right toes under, reach back through your heel, and try to keep that leg as straight as you can and micro lift your toes off the ground. So it's a very small lift because we're trying to keep the work more in the buttocks and the back of the thigh and less in the lower back. The higher you lift, the more your back muscles work. So it's very tiny. But especially at first and for a while when you do this, gosh, the tension in that hip will want to pull the knee into a knee bend. So extend that leg as long as you can. And every time you touch your toes down, see if you can get your leg a little bit straighter. That shows you that there's still some work to be done in getting that range of motion in your hip. All right, how about we take that right leg a little bit out to the right. Press back through the heel and micro lifts there. So you use a subtly different part of the buttocks muscles, the back of the thigh muscles. It's such a small lift. It's going to be the same thing when we're standing later and we're doing leg swings. We're going to try to do very tiny leg swings, so we use very particular areas of our musculature. And then from there, slide the leg over towards your left leg a little bit. Tuck as many toes under as you can to start, and then micro lifts there. And if your body is not used to using parts of the back of your leg and is used to going into more of your lower back muscles, when you do this, it will be challenging to lift your leg low, meaning that your body will automatically want to take your leg higher because those are the muscles that you're used to using when you're moving around. So if you feel like that, and if you feel like it's very hard to get your leg off the ground without lifting it high, then maybe just stay in the stretch longer. There's no need to lift up and down at first. All right, let's bring that right leg back, tuck your left toes under, press back through the heel. Your spine is relaxed down, your head is relaxed down, and micro lift and lower your back leg. Trying to keep it as straight as possible as you lift. So tiny, your toes just barely come up off the floor. When you put your toes down, you're seeing, can you get your leg a little bit straighter? Then you know, oh, it is slightly bending when I lift my toes up off the floor. And then hop that leg a little bit out to the left. Same thing, lengthen as much as you can and micro lift and lower. And you can't force your leg. If it's not ready to straighten all the way, you can't force it. It will just happen over time. I practiced this for a long time where every time I put my toes down, I could re-straighten my leg a little bit more. And really, gosh, after years of practicing, it's just within the last few months that I feel like my leg is staying straighter and straighter. So it's really just practice that helps it happen over time. But really focus on it. Focus helps too. Okay, bring that leg back to center, slide it over towards your right leg a little bit, extend back through the heel, and micro lift and lower there. Very tiny. Another thing you'll notice if it's challenging is that your body will want to use momentum. It'll kind of want to fling your leg up. So try to go slower. Once you've got it, try to go a little bit slower. All right, bring that leg back to hip distance apart. Bring your hands under your chest. Curl your ribs away from the floor first as you press yourself up. Let's open our knees hip distance or a little wider. Tuck as many of our toes under as we can, maybe getting onto the balls of the feet. Bring your forearms down to the floor. Let your tailbone be nice and high, your belly be nice and relaxed, and just shift forward and back here. So you're bringing your hips right over your knees and then slowly going back. Notice your ankles, do they roll in and out? Try to keep your heels pointing steady up in the air. And just see how far can you go back before you start noticing your spine rounding. So try to find that place where it's just like, oh, I can still feel my tailbone pretty high in the air. And it might not be very far at first, and that's okay. This class is all about, in some ways, finding our boundaries. And when you find your boundaries, you'll start to move in ways that are a lot better for your body over time. All right, we are going to come onto our back. So have something for underneath your head. Have blocks nearby. I'm not sure if we're going to use them yet. But once you're on your back, we're going to start with a neutral pelvis, so tilting your tailbone down, feeling that little lift of your waist right where your belly button is. Hug your right knee in without tucking your pelvis under, so keep that tailbone down, hug that knee in. Extend that leg straight up into the air as much as you can, flex the ankle, reach up, and then lower that foot down. Now same thing, think pelvis going one way as thigh bone comes in towards you. And then extend that leg up any amount, flexing through the ankle, reaching up through the leg, breathing. And then bend that knee and switch legs. Lift the right thigh up, extend that leg into the air, point, flex, point your ankle, flex. Now how about a twist to one side, inner arch goes up, outer edge of the foot slowly goes up. Inner arch up, outer edge of the foot. Bring your foot back to center. How about spreading all your toes as wide as you can? Try to keep your toes spreading, straightening through your leg as you point with toes spreading and flex with toes spreading. Point, toes spreading, flex, toes spreading. If your foot cramps, just bring it down, rub it out a little bit. With your toes spreading, twist your ankle, inner arch goes up, outer edge of the foot goes up. Inner arch up, outer edge of the foot goes up. Ankle back to center, relax your toes, bend your knee. Lift your left thigh in, extend that leg as straight up into the air as you can get it. You can even wrap a strap around the back of your thigh. Sorry, I didn't say that on the first side. Point, flex, point, flex. Twist your ankle. Inner arch goes up a little, outer edge of the foot. Inner arch up a little, outer edge of the foot. Back to center, try to spread all your toes, keep lengthening through the leg, point with toes spreading, flex, point, flex, and then twist, toes spreading, twist the ankle, twist, and twist. Keep spreading the toes, bend the knee, relax the toes, put the foot down. And then from here, I'm going to teach you something that's a little challenging to teach even in a group class in person. Maybe it'll even be easier here because you can look more if you need to. But you're going to keep your left leg bent and extend your right leg long and start with your ankle flexed and your toes straight up in the air. Now this is where a subtle difference in your body position makes a huge difference in what muscles you use. You are going to keep your pelvis in neutral, and it helps if you put your hands there and really tilt your tailbone down. You want to feel a lift behind your waist no matter how subtle, and you're going to very slowly lift your leg into the air, no higher than your other knee, because once it goes past your other knee, you start using other muscles. And then slowly go back down. Now, if your pelvis is a little bit tucked under, it's going to be a lot less work for the front of your thigh. You kind of know that you're doing it correctly when you're just like, wow, I can really start to feel this work in the front of the thigh. So if you're not feeling the work a lot in the front of the thigh, two things. Untuck your pelvis more and lift the leg a little bit slower. And I know this, I've done this with a lot of professional athletes who are like, oh my goodness, it's hard to even get the leg up to the other knee. And it has everything to do with that subtle tilt of the pelvis. And I don't think I've ever worked with anyone before who they said, I'm not really feeling it. And I came over and got their pelvis to tilt into neutral and they're like, oh, I can feel it now. So trust me, when you get your pelvis into neutral, you'll feel a lot more work on the front of your thigh as you go up and down. No motion in the pelvis. Keeping the tailbone down, keeping the lift of the waist. Go slower with the leg as you go up and down. And then let's switch legs. Bend that knee, extend your other leg. Remember, position of the pelvis is most important. Flex your ankle and go slow. No less than like 5 seconds up and 5 seconds down. You can also watch the angle of the leg. So if your leg is veering in or veering out, you might feel less work or more work on a particular side of the front of the thigh. Keep the leg very straight. Really get the pelvis into neutral. And again, you're not going above the knee. Your body will kind of let you know when you went high enough with that thigh. Once you get your pelvis into neutral, you'll feel it. All right, let's switch legs again. Extend your opposite leg. This time, let's rotate your thigh bone out just a little bit so your knees and toes turn out. So you're working more this inner stripe of your quadricep. Again, really focus on the pelvis tilting that way. So pubic bone, that's like the bottom of your buttocks cheeks, don't lift up the floor at all. Lift up off the floor at all. And slowly lift that leg. And the slower you go, the more work it will be. And slowly lower down. And this one is such a good one for helping to really, in many ways, to help the knee once you've created more range of motion in the front of your thigh. One more. Thigh and knee turned out to the side. Keep your ankle in line with your hip. And then slowly lower down and switch sides. Bend that knee, extend your left leg, rotate your thigh bone, toes and knee out to the side. Tilt your tailbone down. Keep that pelvis nice and flat. And I promise, if you keep your pelvis in neutral, you will feel quite a bit of work in the front of the thigh. Watch that pelvis, because as the leg goes up, when the muscle doesn't want to work anymore, the pelvis will tilt back. And it will seem like it's easier. And let's do 2 more on this side. And my body's like, you need to do this more often. All right, and then bend your knee from there. And from here, let's bring our knees in nice and slowly, but think of keeping your tailbone going away from your buttocks going away from your knees. Come in, open your thighs up about hip distance apart, lift your feet up and flex your ankles. And then just see about like moving your thighs a little bit away from you and a little bit in, but without any rocking of your pelvis. So pelvic motion here is the spine moving. We're trying to move at the hip joint. All right, and then place your feet down and either roll to one side or rock yourself up, and you can press yourself up onto all fours. From all fours, you'll step your right foot forward into a low lunge. From this low lunge, your ankles are hip distance apart, your outer edge of your feet straight. You can always tuck your back toes under for more stability. You can pad your back knee. Keep that pelvis in neutral once again, vertical line when you're upright like this, and maybe move forward and back a little bit. If your pelvis starts to tilt, then you know you went too far. If your knee goes past your ankle, just put your ankle a little bit in front of your knee so you have some space to move. And then from here, interlace your hands behind your head, right pinky finger on top. And then we'll curl our ribs down. And think of keeping your ribs down and just sliding your head back into your hands without your chin lifting up. Let's do that one more time. Curl your ribs down and back. And then slide your head back into your hands Extend your arms, release your arms down, switch legs. So step your right foot back, step your left foot forward, maybe tucking the back toes under for a little bit more stability. Sometimes I forget to do that, and it's really better for my body too to tuck the back toes under if you can. You can always lift your knee a little bit higher. And then from here, keeping that pelvis in neutral, go forward and back. If your ankle goes past your knee, then don't go quite so far. If your pelvis starts to tilt, then don't go quite so far. You're just seeing how much range of motion do I have keeping my pelvis vertical. All right, next time you find a place to pause, interlace left pinky finger on the top, curl your ribs down and back, and then just slide your head straight back into your hands without the ribs lifting up. Let's do that one more time. Curl your ribs down and back and slide straight back, and then extend your arms. You can lower them down with your front ankle under your knee, back toes tucked under, push down to step up. Now with your feet straight and your ankles hip distance apart, how about just shifting your hips forward and back a little? As you shift your hips forward, you don't need to lift your ribs. You can keep your ribs relaxed down. But remember, this is one of our alignment skills, is more often not holding our weight forward in the front and the middle of our feet, and more often backing our hips up over our heels so that we can easily lift our toes and not feel like we're rocking back. And when you first back up, because most people's body are not used to being there, the front of the thighs will clench. So try to relax the front of your thighs as you back your hips up. It might feel when you back your hips up, you're not trying to keep your torso back. So you're letting your torso come forward a little bit. It's often not coming forward as much as you think it is. You just feel like it is. And then once your thighs are back and your legs are straight, you want to see, can I lift my kneecaps up and down? And if you can't see my kneecaps, they lift up pretty good. But if you can't see them lifting up and down here, go to the alignment skills on the community menu and review kneecap relax, because you want to be able to get there eventually, because it's very important for taking the next steps for alignment in your body. All right, but from here, grab whatever you're using for a calf stretch. Put the ball of your right foot up, your heel down, outer edges of feet straight. Maybe step that outside foot forward, hips back over heels. Can you relax your knees? Turn your elbow pits and palms forward and just move into a backwards arm swing, trying to keep your elbow pits forward. So it's okay if the thumbs turn forward, but you want to keep your elbow pits forward where they have a tendency to want to turn in. And just swing your arms backwards. And if you've never done this before, go really slow at first so you can check on your elbow pits, but then eventually you're really just pulling your arms backward and letting them relax forward. Check in with how your calf stretch feels. Maybe you step that outside foot forward a little bit more. And then how about pausing your arms and putting a bend in your right knee and steering it right over the center of your foot, so a bent knee calf stretch. And then how about one arm at a time? Pull back, relax forward. Nothing should hurt in your ankle, behind your ankle, in your knee. You really shouldn't feel a lot of sensation in your joints to begin with. So if you are, that's a sign to back off. Maybe what you're doing the calf stretch on is a little bit too high. A rolled up towel works really well. All right, let's press out of there and switch legs. So ball of the left foot up, outer edges of feet straight, maybe the right foot steps forward, back your hips up over your heels, elbow pits forward, 2 arm swing. Front ribs relax down and back. Anytime you're doing any motion with your arms, you want to check where your ribs are first. Just like with the hips, where we tend to move from the spine, and that's why we're trying to keep our pelvis in neutral, it's the same thing with the arms. We often move from the spine, so we're trying to keep our rib cage in neutral to get more actual shoulder motion and a little bit more pull on the chest and the upper back. Okay, maybe you want to step that right foot forward a little more. Maybe you want to put a bend in your left knee, steering the knee over the center of the foot. And if it's hard enough to just pay attention to that, skip the arms. Otherwise, one arm at a time, swings backwards. Notice if your torso is swinging side to side. Try to keep your torso steady so it's just your arms swinging. All right, from there, come on up. Let's do a top of the foot stretch. If you want to, put a towel or a pillow under the top of your foot. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Push down through your right hip, tuck your left toes behind you. So you're on the top of your foot stretch. And then from here, let's roll that top of the foot stretch towards the pinky toe side of your foot. So your ankle rolls a little bit out to the side, not in a floppy way, in a very controlled way. And then if you feel comfortable stabilizing your standing leg with that ankle rolling out to the side, let's side bend with our right arm up and over. And then nice and slowly and gently side bend with our left arm, hips over heels with your standing leg. Come back down, bring your foot to center so you're back on the center of your foot. Interlace your fingers, right pinky finger on the back. And then maybe lift your arms a little bit off your back and reach back through your knuckles and spread out through your thumbs without the ribs pushing forward. And then release. If your foot is tired of this stretch, come out, give it a break. But how about rolling over so you're more on the big toe side of your foot? And this shouldn't hurt, so again, pad your toe under or come out and don't do so much. Reach your arms out to the side. You're on the big toe side of your foot. Twist your belly to your right and twist your belly to your left. Come back to center. Come to the center of your foot. And then how about rotating through your pelvis and backing your right thigh bone up even more and checking that you're on the center of that back ankle. And then come on up and release the top of that foot. And if you're just like, oh my gosh, put a towel under your other foot. Push down through your outer left hip. The edge of the foot is straight. Tuck those right toes back behind you, top of the foot stretch. How about we roll over towards the pinky toe side of the foot? And then just, reposition if something gets caught or feels really uncomfortable. Left arm goes up and over, paying attention to that left stabilizing leg. Right arm goes up and over into a side bend. Come back through center, center the top of your foot. Interlace left pinky finger on the bottom. Lift your hands any amount off your back. Spread your thumbs out towards each other, or away from each other, excuse me. And then release. And then how about rolling over to the big toe side of your foot? Open your arms out to the side. Twist your belly button to your left. And twist your belly button to your right. And I really mean it when it shouldn't hurt that joint at all. So pad it or skip it. And then from there, come back to the center of the top of your foot and rotate your pelvis into neutral. Now, if this is your first time doing this stretch, because this is the first class for whatever reason you came to when you came online, we do this stretch a lot for much shorter and we don't add so much detail. You want to do that a lot before you start adding all these things in. All right, and come on up and release that foot. Let's come up to the top of the mat. Outer edges of feet straight, ankles hip distance. Think of not lifting your ribs up, but as your arms go up today, let's purposely push our pelvis forward. So it's like you're taking a back bend here without your ribs coming up. And then back your hips up all the way into neutral, hips over heels. Keep your left arm in the air as you reach over and your right arm comes down. And then switch, right arm goes up and over, hips back over the heels. And then come back up, sit back into a chair pose, sliding the shins back, knees hip distance apart. Open your arms out to the side, palms up. Try not to twist or move from the lower body, just twist your upper body. Bring your right hand inside your right knee. And then twist open, bring your left hand inside your left knee. And then come back to center. Straighten your legs as you rotate your pelvis, push your hips back. Good time to practice kneecap relax. Good time to practice rotating the thigh bones into neutral. Try not to, for a while, drop your shoulders below your hips when you're first working. Because once your shoulders go below your hips, you automatically start loading your spine more instead of your buttocks muscles and your thighs. And then go ahead and fold all the way down. It's okay to bend your knees, and you're going to keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back. And we're going to spin our foot flat to come right into a warrior two stance, lining up maybe heel to heel or heel to arch, and come on up into warrior two. Bending your right knee, edge of the foot is straight, and let's nice and slowly, with our palms rotating up, slowly straighten your right leg, bend into the knee, right over the ankle and steering it over the center of the foot. Slowly straighten and slowly bend. Hold steady with the leg. Right arm goes up, reverse warrior, and open back up, warrior two. Right arm goes up, reverse warrior, open back up, warrior two. Slowly straighten the right leg, tip over into a triangle pose. You can pay attention to keeping the leg all the way straight, neutral rotation. Rotate your arm bones all the way one way. Rotate your arm bones all the way the other way. And then bend into that knee, bring your elbow to your knee, top arm in the air. How about curling between your thigh and your armpit and opening up? And once more, curling in between your thigh and your armpit and opening up. Now you have options. One is you can stay here. One is if you can come up higher and put your hand on your thigh. Or another one is you can grab a block at any height and you can start to bring your hand down a little bit lower. Now as your hand comes lower, if your whole torso goes forward, then don't bring your hand much lower yet. And now how about curling that top arm underneath your thigh and opening back up and curling under your thigh and opening back up. And then from there, push into the heels of your feet to pull your upper body up. Turn your toes parallel, rotate forward from the pelvis, walk back around to your right foot at the front of the mat, lower your knee down, stand up for just a moment, slide your right knee back to meet your left knee, knees hip distance apart, feet hip distance apart. You're gonna bend your left elbow and flip your wrist down. This is like a dinosaur arm. Pull your pinky finger gently back towards your forearm as you hinge back from your knee joints and come back up nice and slowly. Nice and gently pull your ring finger down, hinge back at your knee joint and come back up. Nice and gently, so elbow bent, wrist bend is important too. Middle finger pulls down. You're not sitting back. You're keeping your pubic bone forward, pelvis in neutral. Hinge back from your knee joint and come up. It's okay if it's really small. Pull your pointer finger gently back. Hinge back from your knee joint. Come back up. Pull your thumb down and back. Hinge back and come up. Now let's do the other hand. Elbow bends, wrist bends down. Keep elbow and shoulder and wrist about in line. Pull down gently on the pinky finger and back. Hinge back at the knee joint and come up. Ring finger, hinge back and come up. Middle finger, hinge back and come up. Pointer finger, hinge back and come up. Thumb gently down and back, hinge back and come up. All right, lean to your left side, step your right foot forward, tuck your back toes under, push down to step up. We go back up to the top of the mat, feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. As you inhale, lift your arms up. Think not of lifting your ribs, but go ahead and let your pelvis go forward where we don't want it to be most of the time, but we're exaggerating it. Can you keep your legs straight as you push your pelvis gently forward? And then back your hips up all the way, hips over heels where we want them to be. Keep your right arm in the air as you lean over for a right side bend or right arm side bend. Switch, right arm comes down as your left arm goes up and over. Come back to center, sit back into a chair pose, flip your palms up, open your arms to your sides. Just the upper body turns as you twist your left hand inside your left knee. Watch the turning of the hips. Open your arms back up, opposite hand inside opposite knee as you twist open from the waist. Come back to center, straighten the legs as you rotate from your pelvis. Really feel the rotation without your shoulders dropping below your hips. Just try to back your thigh bones up more. Good time to practice. Are my feet straight? Are my ankles hip distance? Can my kneecaps lift up and down? How about rotating your thigh bones into neutral and still being able to lift your kneecaps up and down? That's the bigger purpose of being able to lift your kneecaps up and down. And then keep on folding over, bending your knees at any time. Left foot stays forward, right foot steps back. Spin your foot flat. Come on up, warrior two. First and always checking the position of the feet. Outer edge of the left foot is straight. Slowly straighten the left leg. Bend the knee, steer it right over the center of the ankle. Slowly straighten that leg. Bend the knee right over the center of the ankle. Hold. Inhale, the left arm goes up and back out, warrior two. Inhale, arm goes up and back out, warrior two. Slowly straighten the left leg all the way, tilt over into a triangle pose without bending that knee. Rotate your arm bones all the way one way. Rotate your arm bones all the way the other way. Rebend into that knee, have a block nearby. You can always use your hand on the knee, you can put your elbow on the knee, and then from here, you're curling between your thigh and your armpit and opening back up, twisting the belly open. Press long through the back leg. Curl between your thigh and armpit, open back up. Now you can either keep your elbow there or slide your hand down maybe to a block, maybe lowering the block as long as your torso stays open, and curl your arm under your thigh. You can do this even if your elbow's on your knee. Open up through the belly button. One more like that. Curl under your thigh and open up. And then press into your feet. Pull your torso up. Straighten that leg, parallel your feet. Rotate from the pelvis as you back your weight up into your heels. Walk back around to your left foot. Lower your right knee, slide your left foot back. Tuck your toes under as much as you can to sit back any amount, and then turn your hands to face away from you and try to touch your 8 fingertips down as you pull them back. So a little stretch on the bottom of the feet as well as the palms of the hands. Breathing here, check in with your ankles. Do they twist to one side or the other? And then press up, step your left foot forward, tuck your right toes under, and push down to step up. Okay, we're back at the top of the mat. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Inhale, arms rise without the ribs lifting. Let those hips go forward. Straighten the legs. Back the hips up all the way. Left arm goes over for a side bend. Right arm goes over, hips over heels. Sit back into a chair pose. Open your arms out, palms up. Twist your right hand just inside your right knee. Open your arms up, knees stay steady. Left hand inside left knee. Come back to center. Rotate your pelvis and straighten your legs into a half forward fold. Bring your hands down. Your right foot stays forward. Your left foot steps back. And then from there, you might want to block underneath your hands here to get a little more length through your spine. You're going to bend and straighten your back leg, but try to do so without your hips going up and down. So it's a more rolling off your foot and reaching back through the heel. Rolling off the foot and reaching back. Rolling off the foot, reaching back, and then slowly lower that knee down. Stand up in your low lunge. Reach your left arm up and over into a side bend. And then just the arm goes forward and back a little. Forward and back a little. Check your back toes. If they're tucked under, are you rolling to one side of your toes? Forward and back a little. Check your front thigh. Does it tend to roll in? Forward and back a little. Then from there, bring your hands back down to the floor or the block. Tuck your back toes under, lift your back knee. Try to straighten that leg. And then how about rolling a little bit from your pinky toe to the big toe side of your foot? So it's your thigh bone moving side to side, not so much your spine and your hips moving side to side. So regulate, so it's just your thigh bone to the best of your ability. It's a very small movement. And then bring your toes back to center, lower your knee down, stand up, bring your hands behind your head, right pinky finger on the back. With your ribs down, slide your head back. Turn your belly button to the right and hold. Steady on the feet, open thighs, curl down and press back in a twist. Curl down and press your head back. Unwind your spine, bring your hands down to the block or the floor, tuck your back toes, lift your knee, spin your foot flat for warrior one stance. Come on up with your arms, palms face each other, and then just sweep your arms down and up. Press long through the back leg. Down and up and down and up and down and up. And then spin onto the ball of your back foot. Step up to the top of the mat. Push down through that outer right leg. Let your hands come down. Bend your left knee. Maybe just stand like that. Maybe reach with your hand. Maybe your right arm goes into the air as you slide that left thigh bone back. And then lower the hand and the foot. And then we'll go around to the other side. Feet straight, ankles hip distance apart. Starting here, inhale, arms rise up. Purposely, without the ribs going forward, let the hips go forward. Keep the legs straight. Then back your hips up all the way, hips over heels. Left arm, right arm over for a side bend, either one. And switch, other side. Relax any clenching in the front of the thighs. Sit back into a chair pose. Open your arms, palms face up. Twist your left hand inside your left knee without the legs twisting or caving in. Open your arms out to the side, right hand inside your right knee. Come back to center, hands to the hips. Rotate through the pelvis, half forward fold. Then you can keep going down, bend your knees at any time. Sit your hips back, your left leg steps forward, your right leg steps back. Maybe put a block underneath your hands. And from here, your front thigh is opening, so knee over the ankle, a little bend in the knee, roll off the foot, and press back. Without the hips going up and down. Roll off the foot, stretch all the way back. Roll off the foot, stretch all the way back. This time, roll off the foot, put the knee down nice and softly. Come on up. If your back toes are tucked under, feel the whole set of toes. Reach that right arm into the air, side bend over to the left. And then without the ribs going up, the arm goes forward and back a little. Forward and back. Check in with the front thigh. Does it tend to collapse in? Forward and back. Forward and back. Bring your hands back down to the block. Tuck your back toe, lift your knee, straighten that leg. A little rotation of your thigh. So your toe, you go from one side of your toes to the other. And a little easier if you can get to the ball of your foot, for sure. Bring your toes back to center, lower your knee down softly, come on up, interlace your left pinky finger on top behind your head, ribs relax down, twist your belly to the left, hold steady through the feet, feel all your toes, feel the front foot, curl down into a crunchie, keep the ribs down, just slide the head back, and curl down, and slide the head back. Unwind, hands back down to a floor of the block, lift the back knee, spin the foot flat. Each foot is in its own lane. Arms rise up, warrior one. From here, press long through the back leg. Arms come down and up in the air. Sweep down nice and slowly and up. Steady through the feet. Arms down and up. Can the ribs drop down a little more? Arms down and up. And then spin onto your back toes, push off your back foot to press up and release your hands down. Okay, we're going to do some squats. Now, these are pretty low. If you prefer to do chair squats, grab yourself a chair, put the chair in front of you. The goal is to use less momentum and to go slower with our body in neutral alignment. So if you're losing neutral alignment, then you know that you want to be higher, either to a chair or even something stacked on a chair. This is a block at the highest height. Feet straight, ankles hip distance. You're sitting your hips back and going down nice and slowly, and whatever you're touching, you're gently tapping it, pushing your hips back, and come up nice and slowly. What happens? Do your feet want to turn out or in? Do your knees really want to go forward? Do your thighs want to collapse in and out? Then you do less range of motion to start. Don't go so low. Nice and slow. Nothing fast, nothing with momentum. Push back and come up nice and slow. Breathing. And if you've got the lower body set up, you can start watching if you thrust the ribs. But it takes a while to really get the hips to go back without the knees going forward, using the whole sole of the foot. Breathing. All right, next time you sit down, you're going to go all the way down, so crawl yourself down. I'm going to flip this block to the lowest height and sit down. If you have a little stool, you can sit down on the stool, bring the soles of your feet together, your knees open, and then you're going to try to do some pelvic tilts here. And try to really feel the pelvis moving. So it's not so much the spine going forward and back. You could even keep your spine straight up and down and just move from the pelvis. So see, can you get any pelvic motion here? And if not, keep doing it on something higher, on chairs, on stools that are a little bit higher, until you can get some of that pelvic motion when you're sitting closer to the floor. But be patient with yourself. Couple more rotations here, soles of the feet together. Ribs are not moving, it's just the pelvis. Rotating forward and back. This is sometimes where a mirror comes in handy. All right, from there, just stay. I forgot what I had next. Oh yeah, okay, so extend your right leg long. You can either keep your left foot in and sit up tall. You can stack props under your knee, or you can curl your knee behind you. We did this a little bit last week too, with your knee in line with your hip. Try to sit up right in your pelvis. It's going to feel like your spine comes forward a little bit, but it's not hinging forward. The motion is from the pelvis. And then from there, nice and slowly, let's do our, if your right leg is forward, right ear to right shoulder. Draw your ears back so your ear's right over your shoulder. Reach your left arm forward and slowly take it out low and bring it back to your knee. Palm faces away from you. Chin back and in. All right, bring your head up nice and slowly. Maybe hinge back here. If your leg's in either position, put your hands behind you. Fingers point forward, arms can be straight, or if you're keeping your knee grounded, you can bend your elbows any amount. And you can even feel as though you're pushing your shin and your thigh down to the floor as you bend your elbows back. And same thing with this as the quad strap. As you slightly move the leg, you get different stretches on the front of the thigh. So you can very subtly move your leg and find the angle that feels good for you today. But you don't want to ever get in the habit of only doing one angle. You want to do all the different angles. But we don't have time to do all the angles all the time. Okay, from there, switch sides. So either knee bends this way or straddles behind you. Left leg comes forward, ankle flex. Try to sit up tall in the pelvis. Drop your left ear to your left shoulder. Right palm flips up on your knee. Head draws back, chin draws back. Open the right arm low, come back and tap the knee. Feel the connection between the neck ears dropping over, and the arm moving. And just move the arm in and out a few more times. Breathing. And then bring your head up and maybe lean back onto your hands. You can walk your hands back further. Find that angle of your quadricep that feels right for you today. Maybe push down a little bit into the floor. Maybe bend the elbows and hug them in towards each other. Piece by piece. And the higher you get your hips up, the easier it is to tuck your foot back. So if that's not happening, try sitting up really high and give your knee some space. And then over time, you can lower your hips and lower your hips and lower your hips. But you have to practice pretty consistently to make that change, just like you know from these classes. All right, and come on up and roll off your fingertips and slide that back leg forward. And then you're going to do a 90-degree sit. So with your right ankle in front of you, 90 degrees, hip, ankle, back leg 90 degrees. Now, if this is too much, then you just bend in a little bit less than 90 degrees. So you decide 90 degrees or a little bit less. Walk your hands forward any amount. And if you work with a neutral ankle, that's going to create even more precision in your hips. But if you're really tight here and you're not getting close to 90 degree yet, then you don't need more precision. You just need to relax some of what's going on where you are. But for those of us that come into these shapes pretty easily, for us where there's a greater chance of us overdoing it. And when you work with more stability, like in your ankles, then you protect yourself. So, and everyone will get there eventually with practice. How about rotating your elbow pits forward? Why not while we're here? See how much mine just want to go into internal rotation. All right, walk your hands back and switch. So swing your legs around and maybe 90 degrees front leg, knee in line with the hip, 90-degree back leg, or you bend your lower legs a little bit more in, and then you can hinge forward any amount. Actually feels pretty good for me to just sit up in this position. So I'm going to do that. I'm not going to hinge forward. I'm just going to sit up in this 90-degree position. But you can hinge forward, especially if you'd like to kind of feel the same thing you felt on the first side. Just so happens my body's like, I need this today. Take a few more breaths wherever you are. All right, walk yourself back up. If you're in that forward fold, let your pelvis tuck under a little to bring the leg in front. Extend your legs long in front of you. Flex your ankles so your toes are straight up in the air. Try to tilt your pelvis a little bit more into neutral. You can even do a few rocks here, like see if you can get your pelvis moving with your legs straight. Probably the most challenging place, so go really small. Or if you're just like, no way, it's not happening, then skip it. And then try to sit a little bit more upright, relax the lower belly. And from here, let's take our right ear to our right shoulder. Notice if your head twists, bring the ear back to the shoulder. This time, lift your arm up high, kind of over your right toes. Open out to the side. Bring it across. Open out to the side. Bring it across. Open out to the side, palm up, nice and slowly. Your arm goes down. Bring your head up really slowly, even slower, tilting your pelvis upright. Tilt your left ear to your left shoulder. Reach your right hand out a little bit high, reaching in the angle of your right toes. Open up, feel the connection to the neck, the chest, the bicep. Bring it back across. Open up. Bring it back across. Open up, palm face up, keep the ear dropping over, slowly lower your hand down. And then slowly bring your head up, rotate forward from the pelvis a little, let the ribs curl in, maybe the head drops down, and breathe in. Maybe a few rib breaths here. And you are ready for your final pose, Savasana. So come on to your back. You can put something under your knees. You can put something under your head. Lay back. Get comfortable. Become present with your body. Become present with your breath, because that really is the greatest gift. Allow what you're experiencing. All you can do is do the work and then give the trust to your body. And you did the work. You did the work today. You're going to keep doing the work as you, throughout the day, subtly change your body, take a little bit more random movement throughout the day, a side bend here, a twist there. Then you hand over to your nervous system and observe. Stay present with your body, with your breath. The starfish story. A man was walking on the beach one morning after a storm. In the distance, he could see someone moving like a dancer. As he came closer, he saw that it was a young woman picking up starfish and gently throwing them into the ocean. "Young lady, why are you throwing starfish into the ocean?" "The sun is up and the tide is going out, and if I do not throw them in, they will die," she said. "But do you not realize that there are many miles of beach and thousands of starfish? You cannot possibly make a difference." The woman listened politely, then bent down, picked up another starfish, and threw it into the sea. It made a difference for that one. Allow your awareness of your breath to grow a little bit deeper. If there's any part of your body that wants to move, a little wiggle here, a little rock there. And when you're ready, roll over to your side and pause and go right back to tuning into your breath. Conscious breaths throughout the day make a big difference for the nervous system. How could this little thing, an inhale and exhale, make a difference? But it does. These movements, gently, with ease, sitting a little more upright, relaxing the ribs down a little more, it makes a difference. Your efforts are not too small. Just keep going, keep practicing. Gently press yourself up to a comfortable seated position. As you get settled, bring your hands together at heart center. You are making a difference. Keep going. It should feel good. So if it's not feeling good, you might be pushing too hard, believe it or not. Keep going, keep going, keep going. In gratitude for this day, namaste.